Your days are a little busy now, so thank you for joining us from the other coast. So we're coast to coast to coast. Welcome.
Indeed. Thanks, Joanne. What a pleasure to be here. I mean, obviously, it's a busy campaign, but because of partly what we've been doing over the past year and a half with COVID, we're enjoying a lot more virtual connections, and we thought it'd be great to kick off a series of virtual conversations with candidates across the country with one that is truly and genuinely coast to coast to coast. So I'm here from the beautiful lower mainland in BC, traditional unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, the people of the Squamish, Musqueam, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. And it is an absolutely glorious day here. The kind of day that the locals say, no, keep telling people it rains all the time in BC because people won't all move here. But it's just wonderful to be here, my back home, second home in BC. But a great opportunity to talk with the three of you about this campaign, about how it's going, because really we're in a situation where Canadians are facing an important choice, and how we finish with this pandemic, how we build back better, will vary across the country, but making sure we have great, strong voices in every corner of the country to do exactly that is at the heart of what we're doing now. And that's why I'm so glad to be here with you, Joanne Thompson from St. John's East. It's great to have you as a former nurse and a community leader, part of our team and carrying the banner for us in St. John's. Also want to welcome Alexis Chamberlain in West Nova. Alexis, so excited. You've been a strong young activist all your life, and it's time to make sure that your voice echoes loudly in Ottawa as you bring the concerns of people from West Nova in Nova Scotia to Ottawa. We're going to work hard for that. It's great to have you here. And that's the East Coast. And go to the North Coast, the Arctic Ocean. We have our amazing candidate, Dr. Brendan Hanley from the Yukon. Brendan, you were the Chief Public Health Officer of Yukon through this pandemic, and we all know we were watching Yukon do extraordinarily well. All the Northern Territories did very, very well during this pandemic because of the great leadership and great partnerships that we all had to keep everyone safe. But you've been a trusted voice for uconners for many, many months now, and we're just so excited about the opportunity to bring you to Ottawa to carry the voice of uconners and make sure we're moving forward for everyone across the country. Because that's what this campaign is about. As always, election campaigns are a choice. They're a choice about what kind of future we want to build, both in the short term, how we get through this pandemic, but also into the longer term, how we rebuild in ways that make Canada a better, fairer, more prosperous country for everyone. And that's really where we're leaning in on so many big issues, from childcare to housing, to making sure we're getting people vaccinated so we can get through this pandemic and end it once and for all, to supports for businesses, to continue to fighting climate change, which is a huge priority right across the country, but particularly poignant right now in BC, where extreme weather events like wildfires particularly, but some challenges with flooding as well, are continuing to be a problem. This morning I made an announcement about training up 1,000 new firefighters across the country to support in next year's inevitable fire season, but also investments to make sure provinces can buy water bombers and helicopters and the equipment's needed to get us through. But while we make sure we're adapting to climate change, we need to continue our leadership on it, which is why we're going to continue to push the leadership that we've shown over the past 6 years and go even further, even faster to deal with this crisis. But this is not all about me. This is about you guys as well. So want to reach out to each of you for you to tell me a little bit about your ridings and tell me a bit about yourselves. Joanne, why don't you kick it off?
Thank you. I'm so pleased to be here, and thank you. St. John's East is a beautiful, beautiful riding. It takes in 7 provincial districts, 5 complete and 2 partial. But what's really neat about it is that we have a huge amount of coastline that is absolutely spectacular. And then you move into the half, literally almost half of the St. John's area, which has a very diverse demographic. And so it really is quite vibrant. While there's different municipalities and needs, it really is a tremendous place to live. It's a tremendous place to set roots and grow families. And, I look forward to bringing it to the part of the Liberal Party at the table. So I come to this from a nursing background as an entrepreneur and as a community advocate. And, I align firmly with the Liberal values. And I really believe that we need to have a space for everyone in our society. And, this is a pivotal time in our history. And we can use this time to right so many of the wrongs in terms of gaps in how we deliver programs and how we look at housing and other health needs. And, together we can do a tremendous amount. I think as a separate voice, there's very little we can do, but together we can make a huge difference. And I'm excited.
Outstanding, Joanne. Alexis, why don't you tell me a little bit about West Nova?
Sure. Geographically, large riding. I'm really proud to be from West Nova, and I really enjoy all that it has to offer. I mean, we have, same as Joanne, quite a lot of coastline along the riding. And I was saying earlier that, when I'm going door knocking and I'm having conversations on the doorstep with people, the drive from one end to the other really goes quite quick when you're looking out the window and you see those beautiful views. It does, West Nova is within traditional territory. It was important to recognize. And there is so much that is offered. Quite frankly, there's a lot of opportunity, and I'm really looking forward to being able to have conversations with people and raise diverse voices. The diversity that is found in West Nova is extreme, and it's important to recognize that. I'm looking forward to bringing those voices to the table. And all in all, I'm really, really excited to have conversations with people about what they want to see in a representative. And I really am quite eager to get started and have those conversations.
Awesome. Listen, for people just joining, we're doing an Instagram Live with candidates from coast to coast to coast across Canada to talk about what we're seeing on the ground, how things are going. Brendan, as a former public health officer in the Yukon, you have been connected with people, staying close to people. What have you seen from uconners? What have you seen as the challenges that they're facing these days, and how are they looking at the future?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for those questions. And yes, I'm speaking from Whitehorse, Yukon, and Whitehorse is the traditional territory of the Tahan and Kwalendon First Nations. And of course, I hope to be representing Yukon as a whole region, and it is equally all the way to its tiny part on the Arctic coast to being only a couple of hours from the Pacific coast as well. And yes, I have certainly been hand in hand with the public over the last 18 months as Chief Medical Officer of Health through this pandemic, and now I'm speaking and connecting with uconners in a somewhat different way, of course, as a candidate, but also since the last couple of nights, literally door to door, and starting to hear about what uconners want, what they're saying, what they're concerned about. And my 3 themes that I'm carrying forward are, I think, particularly relevant and poignant for the North, and that's reconciliation and climate change, where the North experiences at least twice the warming rate and the effects of climate change compared to the rest of the continent, and mental health and addictions. And of course, we've seen those impacts so accentuated during the pandemic. And as we look forward to recovery, I think those are really important themes. As Joanne says, a pivotal moment for the country, and I'm really excited to be part of the future.
Well, actually, I mean, and I want to start with you this time, Brendan. I mean, so many people choose to step up to get into politics to try and make a difference and to help their communities and shape the way we're moving forward. And that's something that draws us all into politics. But you're coming into politics from a role in which you were making a huge difference in your communities. You were helping people through this incredible pandemic. You were really there for people and connected with them in very meaningful ways. Tell me about your thought process on deciding, you know what, I can do even more, and I want to do it with this Liberal Party, with this Liberal government, because they're the things that I guess resonated with you. Can you share a little bit the thinking that would have you make the jump from scientist and doctor and leader in keeping people safe to building a better future for them through politics?
You've almost said it all already, I think, Justin. But I think for me, it's as you said previously, working hand in hand with the federal government through the pandemic has been crucial to really feel that partnership and support, and I think the amazing response, and I think as we look forward to that commitment that the Liberals are making to recovery and to the ongoing needs and response of the pandemic, I want to be there in a different way, and bringing those skills that I think I've developed as a leader, as a scientist, bringing that strong voice, and also hoping to add a strong Northern voice at the national table as we look forward to what a renewed Canada could look like. That's really exciting for me.
Well, listen, it's exciting for us as well, because seeing good people step up from all sorts of different backgrounds to serve their communities, serve their country is part of what we've seen, an extension of what we've seen through this pandemic, as people have really stepped up, stepped forward, and been there for each other in record ways. I mean, Canadians were there for each other through this pandemic, which is really, really part of the story of how we've made it through this pandemic better than so many other places. And that story of people coming together is one that we should all continue to learn from. Now, Alexis, as a young woman, as a longtime advocate and activist in various worlds, how is this step into politics looking for you? Because I know I hear an awful lot from young people who are super idealistic about how the world needs to change, and I agree with that. And God, we need that idealism, we need that dynamism to be plugged in. But politics is doesn't always seem like the easiest way to change the world. It moves slowly. It makes big differences as we see, but it isn't always that instant gratification that so many people are looking for when you're trying to say, well, let's end racism, or let's protect the environment. It's like, that's a lot of work to move this, to turn this steamship of a country in the right direction. So tell me about your thinking and how your friends and your circles are seeing you stepping up as a strong young woman into politics.
Sure. I think the face of politics is changing, and there's been trailblazers that have come before me that really started that movement. And in talking with people are finding it refreshing to see someone that is younger, that is female, running, specifically riding. It's often rare that we'll find a candidate that is young and female that steps forward for politics. And it's not necessarily an easy job. It's a lot of work, like you said. I am fortunate that I come from a background of being consistently involved in community. Values were instilled in me growing up, and going to school for social work, knowing that I wanted to give back and help people. And then that transferred into working with the province of Nova Scotia, with the Department of Communities, Culture and Heritage and Seniors. And that really provided me a good foundation to launch, this life in politics from. And, it's really time for different voices to be able to be around the table. And when we add diversity to government, that's when really necessary and meaningful change happens. And I am ready to represent and be a part of that.
Oh, That's so well said, Alexis. I mean, and quite frankly, that's what I've been so proud of in terms of the team we've been able to build over the past number of years as a government. Having gender parity in cabinet, having incredible diversity, and not just diversity of backgrounds, which of course is extremely important, but diversity of experiences and perspectives coming together to reflect the extraordinary pluralism that is the reality in Canada, to make sure we're able to draw on everyone's perspective, to find those solutions on how we all know we need to move forward together. If you're just joining us, we're doing an Instagram Live right now with candidates from coast to coast to coast. I get to represent the beautiful Pacific Coast because I'm here in my second home of BC. We've got Dr. Brendan Hanley from UConn representing the northern part of the country. And I'm happy now to turn to the way eastern tip of Canada in St. John's East to talk to Joanne Thompson about what drew you in, because obviously your background as a former nurse, as a community advocate, as someone who's led nonprofits and charitable organizations, you've seen the need for making a difference on the ground right up close and changing people's lives for the better. How do you hope to bring that into politics, and how are you feeling people are responding to you stepping up like this to serve them and represent them?
Thank you, and it's interesting. You know, when at the doors for me, it's really, I mean, it's a wonderful experience to connect with people again, but it's really heartwarming that people remember so well the work of the Gathering Place over the length of time that I was there. And, you know, they also recognize that this is another way to take those skill sets, but forward and to really serve in another capacity. And I'm so honored that they see this as service in another capacity. You know, it was really the COVID pandemic in those early months and the first, second wave that in particular, I realized that there's so much more that needs to happen in terms of really bringing attention to so many of the gaps in our service delivery, and the movement to federal politics was really an extension of ways that I can serve, bring my voice, what I've learned through the years, my leadership, to a table that's able to still work in the same, along the same principles and values around partnerships. You work in the ground, you work at the higher level, but you work where you need to work to achieve the goals of the people that you're there to serve. And so it's a continuation. I'm so honored to be here. I'm so pleased to be able to offer myself in this way. And I'm excited to be at the doors and to connect with people again. And so pleased to be here tonight. So thank you for this opportunity.
Well, listen, the story of this country has been, particularly over the past 17 months, but over the past decades, has been about people coming together and being there for each other. And that's more important than ever. And seeing great candidates like all of you stepping up to serve those communities, to be your community's voice, is really, really exciting. We're running out of time right now, mais je veux vraiment répéter à quel point c'est un grand plaisir de pouvoir passer un peu de temps avec vous et que c'est un moment maintenant de choix important pour l'avenir de notre pays que les Canadiens sont en train de faire. Comment on va en finir avec cette pandémie? Comment on va rebâtir en mieux pour le long terme de façon plus juste, plus équitable pour tout le monde? We have a really important choice to make as a country coming up about how we're moving forward, whether it involves things like building national child care that'll both give opportunities for kids to have that right start in life, but also get more women into the workforce and create the prosperity that we know comes with that. Questions about how we're going to step up to make housing more affordable right across the country. And of course, how we're going to continue to do even more in the fight against climate change. Yes, we put a price on pollution right across the country and stood firm as provinces wanted to get out from under it. Yes, we were banning single-use plastics. Yes, we're protecting 25% of our land and oceans. But yes, there is so much more to do. And what we've done over the past 6 years has been more than any other government in Canadian history. But we're just getting started. And that's why having an extraordinary team come together to serve Canadians is what I'm so excited about. So thank you for for being part of this. All three of you, I'm looking forward to campaigning with you. I'm looking forward to drawing together Canadians in a positive and optimistic way. To those of you who joined us on Instagram Live, thank you for being part of it. Thank you for your comments and your questions and your encouragements. I look forward to continuing these conversations over the coming weeks as we use all sorts of different ways to continue this conversation to Canadians, so everyone knows this is a choice about how we move the country forward for everyone. And I'm so excited to be part of it with all of you. Merci beaucoup, mes amis. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.